Okay, so we're going to be learning 4.1, which is called going to pieces. And what we're really learning is about piecewise functions. And so it says relate the graph of a function to a story context. And you should be able to write a function made up of several of other functions, which sounds funny. But in reality, you've already learned about some functions that are made up of other functions. We just don't write them like that. And so you're thinking about what a function could look like if there's more than one function in there. And then it says, how can I write one function that is made up of pieces of other functions or different functions? So here's the context. Rashid has a part-time job as a pizza delivery driver. As part of the job, he must keep track of time and distance traveled at each stop. Sometimes he delivers more than one pizza, more than one customer in a trip. So here's what happens. Right. So tell the story for Rashid's trip, include the distance and the time of each leg. And so maybe, he gets to a customer. And now if you notice here, the distance is increasing, sorry. And then it pauses, his distance pauses, but notice time doesn't stop. So what could have happened here? Well, maybe he got to the customer's house. Maybe he was pulled over. I don't know. Maybe he was at a really long stoplight. Maybe he got, behind a train track where, again, time is continuing, except for his distance from the pizza parlor is not, right? So then he's able to go again, and notice here, he's going way faster. I don't know, maybe he's going down a hill. Maybe he was like, oh shoot, I wasted too much time at the train tracks. I need to hurry it up. So he hustles. And then he slowed down a little bit because maybe he's in a neighborhood and he's making sure that he's being safe, right? So whatever case might be, right? So here, you're going to be filling this out and writing this. We'll go over the answers. I mean, some of these in just a second, but I really wanted to get to this one. So it says, write the equations of the lines that model each piece of the trip. So we are going to write an equation for segment 1. So if I look at segment 1, whenever you're writing an equation of a line, what are the 2 things that you need in order to, oh, someone said he stopped and ate some food. Maybe he ate a runny egg. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry. So here, so what are the 2 pieces you need in order to write an equation of a line? What are the 2 pieces that you need in order to write the equation of a line? Yeah, right. We need the slope. Do you guys remember slope? And we need the, yes, very good. And we need the y-intercept. So someone in the chat already put y equals mx plus b. Very good. Someone even wrote just y equals mx. That's even better. And you're like, Ms. Johnson, what's the difference? For this case here, this b is 0. So that's why that person didn't write plus b, because it's at 0. So yes, but the generic equation is plus b, so I'll write it here. So b is your y-intercept. Remember that b is your y-intercept. Just reminding you of the things that you guys learned maybe last year or the year before. So b is your y-intercept. It's where the equation touches this line, and here it's 0. So I'm going to write a 0 right there. So this is going to be 0 plus, all right, that x right there. And what's my slope? What is my slope in this case? You guys all see my slope? Remember, slope is rise over run. Rise over run. So how much did you go up? And someone says, oh, that's 5. Very good. And how much did you go over? Oh, that's 5 again. So what's 5 divided by 5? Yeah, very good. So it's 1. So my equation for this one is going to be y equals to x plus 0. Very good. Thank you very much. Awesome, awesome, awesome work. So can you write that here? So we're going to write y equals to x. Okay, very good. So the second segment is going to be this guy right here, which always tends to trick people. So let me erase some stuff. I'm gonna do this one for you. So for this one, even though it doesn't touch the y-axis, I'm going to pretend that I'm going to extend it all the way through, and it would touch at 5. So therefore, my equation is going to be y equals to, I'm going to skip x for right now. And my slope for right now and put plus 5. You should know 5 because that's where this line, this part of the line, I'm trying to highlight it, hits this. If I extend it this way, you guys all see it? And then now we just have to find our slope. And you guys are like, well, Miss Johnson, it didn't go up. Very good. So that's 0 divided by whatever it went over, 5. And you guys are like, but Miss Johnson, 0 divided by 5 is 0. So is my equation just y equals to 5? Exactly. So whenever you have horizontal lines like that, your x's, you won't see an x in that equation because the slope is 0. So 0 times anything is still your 0, right? So there's number 2. So I'm going to have you guys pause really quick, and I'm going to make you go with your groups. And I want you to figure out the equation of this line here. Now you're going to have to do some extension, right? You're going to have to like, okay, where does it hit the y-axis here? Or you can use that other equation. If you guys remember that other equation, great. If you don't worry about it. If you can't do this one, skip to this one with your group and really try to find the equation of this line. Okay. So I'm going to pause the video. You guys are going to work on these two. I'm going to work on those ones with you. Okay, so we're continuing on, right? And one of the things that I asked you to do was to find the equation of this and this. So one of the ways that you can do this is if you remember the equation of a line. So let me write it up here. Let me annotate. Let me annotate here. So one of the ways that you can do it is it's y. There's a couple different ways to write it. So I'm going to write it like this. Y equals m parentheses x minus x. I'm going to put little ones plus y. And so if you think about our movements, you guys remember when we used to do the movements of different things, right? So it's y equals m parentheses x minus x1 plus y1. Okay. And so what all this is you're saying if I plug in a point here, I can actually find the equation of this line without knowing my b, right? So one of the ways you could have done this is number one, you first found the slope. So that was okay. So a lot of you found the slope and you said it was 10 divided by 5, which is 2. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So you put a 2 here. And then what would happen is you would use a point. Now you can use a point 10, 5 or 15, 15, whichever one you want to do, and then just plug it in. So here I'm going to write, oops, I think I didn't give myself enough room because Miss Johnson, she writes big. So I'm going to write x minus, and then I'm going to leave some space and parentheses. All right, my equals to y. And then I'm going to write my point. Now, I think I'm going to use this point here, 10, 5, because 10's my x. I'm going to put it in the x spot. And because 5 is my y, I'm going to put it in the y spot. So if you wrote this as an equation, then you were pretty much good. Now, some of you wrote an equation. I saw it. It was correct. And so I just want to show you why yours and mine are the same. It just looks different. Like mine is 2 $10 bills and yours is the 20, right? Same value, different look. So if you actually multiply this out, you get 2 parentheses x, 2 times x minus 10. So that's 2x minus 20 plus 5. And that's why some people got 2x minus 15. And that was the answer. High five if you got this as an answer. I saw a couple of yours, very good. For those of you who are a little bit confused and you found the slope, that's good, right? Now you're comfortable with, if I continued this pattern all the way down, what number would I hit here? Well, you would have hit it at negative 15, according to this. Now try using, this is called the point slope formula. I changed it a little because I think this makes more sense because you guys all know about the shifts, the up this many, right this many. Remember we talked about that. So for sure, I would definitely do that. So that's the equation of this line. So you can go ahead and write it for on slide 6. And so if I chose to use that same thing here, I'm going to give you guys a second to try using this formula. this one here to see if that works. Now, part of the reason why I sent you off without reminding you how to do this is because I kind of wanted you to see that you can figure this out on your own without using this formula, right? But now I want you to, okay, now try using this formula and see if you get it. Oh, where did I get the 2? So if I count my slope, let me use a different color. If I count my slope, I went up 10 and I went right 5. And slope is 10 divided by 5. So that's why it's 2. Good question. Very, very good question. Okay. So now what I want you to do is I want you to try using this formula. I'm going to move this formula over here so you guys can try it. I did not move my little ones, so I'm going to move my little ones as well. So this guy, little 1. These are like subscript ones. It's almost like if we had, say, 2 Nathans in our class, and I'm like, hey, Nathan. And then sometimes in your class, you would say Nathan L or Nathan P or whatever. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. So for segment 3, this one right here. Remember, segment 2 is y equals to 5. This one. Very good. All right. So I want you to try it with this one right here. So now you guys are going to try this right here. So I'm going to pause really quick, let you guys work. All right. So some of you are able to finish. The first thing that I want to fill out is the slope, which is this M. So let me clear some space here. So, I know, sorry. How do you find the slope of this last segment right here? How do you find the slope of this last segment? What do you need to do first? Yes. So I always start with the bottom one. You could start with the top one if you would like. So I always start with the bottom and I move up 1. So that means it's going to be 1. And then I move over to the right all the way. Oops, Ms. Johnson can't draw straight on their mouse. So there you go. It's 1/5. So my slope right here is going to be 1 divided by 5. Always slope is rise over run. Very good. Very good. Okay, so what's the next thing that I need to do? What's the next thing that I should do? Okay, so yeah, I should write y because that's going to be the same. I'm going to put my parentheses. I'm going to write x minus, and I'm going to leave some space for my x and my y. Right? So which point would you guys like to use? This one right here, 1515 or 2016? Which point would you rather use? Come on, y'all. Don't give up on me. Which point would you rather use? 2016 or 1515? I'm going to use 2016 because I don't want to use 1515. So you see where the X goes and where the Y goes. Okay. If I'm going to use the point 20 and 16, what goes where? What goes right here? What number goes here? What number goes here? Yes, the 20. Now, if someone's like, Miss Johnson, why does the 20 go there? Because it's in the X spot and this is the X number, right? So that means 16 has to go here. And you can be like, okay, well, why does it go there? Because it's the Y number, right? So there's your equation. You can simplify like we did over here, or you can just leave it exactly like this. So I'm going to switch over to this one. So now you should be able to put that there. Let me erase a couple of things over here because I'm annotating. Oop. Okay, so this actually now goes here. So I'll actually write it so it stays. So I'm going to write the equation y equals 2, 1. Oh, I should have done this. Sorry, let me change this. So this is y equals 1/5 parentheses x minus 20 close parentheses plus 16. If you simplified that out, what would that be? 1/5 x, right? And then that would be -4, right? -4 plus 16, which would be plus 12. So this is what I got. Plus 12. Is that right? -4 plus. Yeah, that's right. So here's my answer. This is what we did over here. You guys can write this one in here too. So y equals 2x minus 15. Either one would do. So here is your piecewise function. But the problem is if I graph all of these, now let me erase my other stuff. Now, if I graph all of these, y equals to x, and then I graph y equals to 0, and I graph the next one, oops, y equals 2x minus 15, and I graph my last one, y equals 1/5 x plus 12. Okay. And I show you this. Let's like show you. Let's zoom out a little. Sorry. And you're like, Ms. Johnson, this looks nothing like that graph over here. That doesn't look like it. And I'm like, shoot, you're right. So the reason why it doesn't look the same is because all of them are all here all the time. But here, all of them are here, but only for one. Each person kind of takes their turn. Do you see that? So we got to talk about turns and where it goes. So we're going to move on to this one really quick. So you can make up whatever story you want. Someone said that he ate. So someone said, you can write that. Then he ate something. Right? That was the second one. And so he went, let's see, how far did he drive? He drove or ride. He rode 0 miles in 5 minutes, right? So that's that one. The first one is he was driving to, I don't know, he drove to his favorite restaurant. I don't know, something. So he drove, so Rashid started driving and went 5 miles in 5 minutes. So whatever story you want to come up with, that's great. Okay. And then if you say, then he went down the hill, or then he realized, oh, shoot, I need to hurry up because the pizza's getting cold, and he rode faster, whatever the case might be, that's all they're asking for. Right. And they're asking for these, like how far he went and how long he went. And if you kind of think about it, they're asking for his slope. So I'm going to leave that to you. You guys can fill that out on your own. You guys are great. Here we did this one together. So Ms. Johnson, how would we do that? So here is how we would do that. I should have put it on a blank Desmos instead of the one that's in there. So let me copy all these here really quick. And then I'll show you what that actually means. So y equals 2x minus 15, and and y equals 1/5 x plus 12. Okay, so here's my drawing. Let's put this on this side. Put this here, and then I'm going to hide this for now. And then I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you guys can see all of the different. I put y equals to 0. Oh, this should have been 5. Sorry. I don't know why I keep putting that. I'm going to make this 5. My bad. There it is. So you can kind of see, I don't know why this is wrong here. Let's fix this. Let's erase Miss Johnson. 5. There you go. So you can kind of see all of them. And the reason why this doesn't look like this one is because this is only one of them at a time. They're taking turns. But here, do you see how this is all of them at the same time? So I could highlight the pieces that I want. I could say, okay, first, I want to use this one. And then I want to use this one. And then I want to use this one. And then I want to use this one. Right? I guess I should make it a tad bit bigger, right? So those are the ones that I want to use, right? Let me actually do that and get bigger so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Do you see them? 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys all see that? So what I need to do is I need to restrict each of these so that it's only using this one and that first part, and then only this one for the second part, and so on and so forth. And so that's why this one looks like this. That's what these are. These are restrictions from this to this. I'm only going to look at 16x from this to this. Okay, so let's talk about this next one and then we can move on. So it says Michelle and Rashid love going on long bike rides. Every Saturday, they have a particular route they bike together that takes 4 hours. Given is a piecewise function that estimates the distance they travel in kilometers for each hour of their bike ride. So here it is. Okay, you're not supposed to do anything on here. You're just supposed to get your eyes used to the fact that there's these things right here. So in case you don't know what these are called restrictions, or when X is between 1 and 0. Okay. So it says, what part of the bike ride are they going the fastest or the slowest? Can you guys answer this in the chat for me? Which part of the bike ride are they going the fastest? Which part of the bike ride are they going the fastest? Uh-oh. You want to call this part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4? Just pick one. Okay, so yes, the part that that they're going the fastest is this part because the slope is the biggest. So this is the 16x. All right, fine. Which part is the part that they are traveling the slowest? Which part is the part that they're traveling the slowest? Someone said the second one. Yeah, why would it be the second one? Yeah, it has the smallest slope. Look at all my slopes: 16, 10, 14, 12, 10 for sure. Very good. Yeah, someone else said, a very good explanation. It's the least steep. It's the least steep. Very good. So I'm just gonna go, I'm just gonna put 10x, and then I'm gonna put dot, dot, dot. So you guys know I'm not gonna write the whole equation. Very good. So it says, what is the domain? Now, this is the part where people mess up all the time. Okay. Domain are all the values of X that we're using. All the values of X that you're using. I need you to take a risk right now. What values of X are we looking at? What values of X are you looking at? Where should I look? Should I look over here? Should I look over here? You asked me about X, Ms. Johnson. I should be looking here. Yes, that's correct. So all I'm asking is, what is the smallest value of X to what is the largest value of X? What's the smallest value of X to what's the largest value of X? Come on, y'all. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 people participating. I need more. Let's go. Come on, participate. What are the values of X that I'm using? Come on, guys. Yeah, perfect. Someone said, hey, Ms. Johnson, is it 1 to 4? And I'd say, no, not quite, but kind of. What numbers did this person forget? Someone said from 1 to 4, Ms. Johnson. Where does this person see 1? Where does this person see? Yeah, someone says, Ms. Johnson, it's from 0 to 4. Exactly. From 0 to 4. Exactly. Yeah, so you guys have to participate. Participating is going to help you make mistakes now as opposed to make mistakes during Homework, which is not so great because no one's there to check you and say, nope, you're wrong. You're silly. Okay, so this is how we write it. You're gonna have to write, what is it called? There's something called notation that I want you to be using. So we go like this, bracket 0, comma 4. This means all the numbers between 4 and 0. Okay, so I want you to get used to writing stuff like this. Okay, some of you wrote this, and I'm going to write this in red to remind you, don't write it like this. Why shouldn't I write it like this? Can you guys look at this and say, oh, I understand why she doesn't want us to write it like this. Why would Ms. Johnson say, don't write it like this? No, you guys are funny. Okay, so the reason, hey, tell me why. Why shouldn't we write it like this? What if you do this on a test, I'm going to mark you wrong for sure. Okay, but why doesn't it make sense for us to write it like this? Exactly. Someone says, hey, Ms. Johnson, because it looks like subtraction. Doesn't it? Doesn't it look like subtraction? Yeah, I definitely need something around it. So I put brackets around it. Just get used to it for now. What it actually means is every number between 0 and 4, including 4. Ms. Johnson, where did you see that? Right here. 0 to 1, and then 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. So it's all of these numbers all the way to 4. That's where they found it. Good. Good looking. Good looking. Okay. Next, it says find f of 2. What? Explain what it means in terms of the context. They want me to find f of 2? Okay, Ms. Johnson, that normally means just plug in 2. But look, I've got a 2 here, a 2 here, a 2 here, and a 2 here. Which one do you want me to use? Okay, so now I'm looking for someone to make sense of this. I haven't told you anything. So can anyone make sense of this? Which one of these should I actually use to find f of 2? If this makes sense to you, then you got it. Like the rest of this lesson is going to be it's going to make sense. Yeah, okay, so someone notices, Ms. Johnson, some of these are less than or equal to, and some of these are less than, right? Equal to means that it includes that number. Like, so this one says less than, so it says X is greater than 3. So it means that 3 is not included here, but it is included here, right? Because it's equal to. So again, Ms. Johnson, where do you want me to put the 2? Want me to put it here in 16x? Here in this one? Here in this one, or here in this one? How would you be able to tell which one I'm supposed to use? How would you be able to tell which one I'm supposed to use? The answer is there. You just have to look. Someone take a risk. Come on. It's there, I promise. If you look, you will find it. Use your young, very observant, very fresh eyes to look for the answer. Someone says the second one. Someone said this one. That we should use this one. Why would you say they said use this one? Why would she say use this one? Come on, y'all, get it. Get this in. If you can make sense of this, I don't have to teach you anything else. Everything else makes sense. This person's right. You should use the second one. But why? Look for the reason why. Someone said, I don't know, I'm just guessing. Is it because there's a 2? Yes, but look, there's a 2 down here too. Right? There's a 2 right here. But why would I use the second one, not the third one? You guys are right. Come on, take a risk. I promise you. If you're wrong here, who cares? Let's be wrong so we can be right. Come on, y'all. Take a risk. Yeah, the third one doesn't include 2. Someone said, because it's strictly greater than 2, and 2 isn't greater than 2. Exactly. So you want me to plug it into this one, Miss Johnson? Yes. Okay, now explain to yourself why you have to use the second one. That if anyone plugs it into the first one, the third one, or the fourth one, they're just wrong. Okay. And this is the key part. So like if you blinked right now, you missed it, because that was the key part. So I'm going to start all over again. I said, find f of 2. Oh, shoot. There's this one, this one, this one, and this. How am I supposed to know which one to plug it into, Miss Johnson? Someone says, I think you're supposed to plug it into 2. And I said, yeah, you are. Why? And they said, oh, because there's a 2 in it. And I said, not so, because look, there's a 2 in the third one too. Why are we supposed to use the second one and not the third one? Tell yourself this reason. Now, normally in class, if we were face to face, I'd have you turn and tell your neighbor. But because you don't have a neighbor, tell your wall or tell the computer, tell the screen, tell someone why you know it's the second one. Now, I've had students actually do this, and that's how they've gotten better at math. I've had students say, no, that's stupid, Miss Johnson. Okay. Remember, who's the expert in turning students who hate math into people who do and are able to do it? Me, not you. So you should probably listen to me, not you. Okay. So why did we have to use the second one, not the third or the fourth one? Why should we use the second one, not the third or fourth? Put it in the chat. Hey, don't mess up on this. Get it in. When I ask you guys questions, answer the question. That's going to be your best bet on studying for your quizzes and tests. Remember, my goal is to make sure that you never have to study for a quiz or test because you've answered all my questions. All right, get it. So someone tell me, I think you're all typing. That's what I'm hoping. I'm just going to awkwardly wait. Yeah, that's one way. That's another good way. That is a really good way. I only have 2 people trying. Come on, y'all. You got to put in the work. For those of you who want to improve in this class and get a better grade, or for those of you who want to maintain your grade, notice this semester's material is quite different than last semester. So you're going to have to work harder to get the same grade as last semester. I don't know if you guys know that. Yes. Okay. So I'm just going to say this last person said it probably the best. So I'm going to snip their work and show you here. Someone said, oh, shoot, not that one. My bad. Oh, where'd it go? Yeah, this is right. This is awesome. So here, this is what one of your classmates says, because the second one actually includes 2, since it's greater than or equal to, right? So here, if you put a 2 into every single one of these, put a 2 in. Put a 2, put a 2, put a 2. It's the only one that's actually true. That's what your classmate is saying. Is 2 less than or equal to 1 and greater than 0? Everyone says no, right? No. Is 2 less than or equal to 2 and greater than 1? And someone says yes. Is 2 less than or equal to 3 and greater than 2? Ms. Johnson, 2 and 2 though, and I know, but is 2 greater than 2? Are you taller than yourself? No. Okay. Is 2 less than 4 and greater than 3? No. So it's gotta be this one, Miss Johnson. Yeah. So then you plug in 2. So plug in 2 with me. Ready? What's 2 minus 1? Good. What's that times 10? Good. What's 10 plus 16? Yeah. Someone said, So it's the only one that makes sense. Yeah, because the rest of these are false, right? 2 isn't less than 4 and greater than 3. It's the only one that makes sense. Someone said in the chat that the answer was 26. So you're saying for f of 2 is 26. For f of 2, it's 26. Yes. F of 2 is 26. Okay. Oh, now going back to the context of them riding a bike, f of 2, what does 2 mean in this context? What does 2 mean in this context? 2 is the number of hours. Good. What's 26 then? What is 26? Yeah, it's the number of miles. Very good. So after or at 2 hours, let's put that at 2 hours, they rode or they traveled 26 miles. Or after 2 hours, I don't know, something like that. Is everybody okay with that? Very good. Okay, so that part is the key part. Everything else is just going to confirm your understanding. So let's continue. How far have they traveled at 3 hours? So let me clear all this. Doot, doot. Okay. How far have they traveled at 3 hours? How far have they traveled at 3 hours? So your brain should be like, oh, shoot, which one am I going to use? First one, second one, third one, or fourth one? What do you guys think? First, second, third, or fourth? Oh, someone said it right away. What? We're getting it. I've got one person who knows which one. Should I use the first, the second, the third, or the fourth? I've got 2 people who know the answer. If you know the answer, can you tell me? Because right now I'm checking. This is my job as a teacher. I need to check how many people understand it. Now, if you don't tell me and you do understand it, you're not giving me enough information because I'm waiting for a certain amount of people and then I can move on. So I've got 3 people who understand it. Thank you in the chat. Just private for now. It's fine. Thank you for asking. I got 3 people. I know which one to use, Ms. Johnson, first, second, third, or fourth. And actually, there's a couple more. I think some of you are actually calculating now. Okay. Okay, go ahead and find the answer. So for those of you who didn't know, they're supposed to use the third one. That's what the people told me in the chat. The third one, Miss Johnson. Do you know why? Do you know why? Now, some of you said, oh, it's the only one that makes sense. Some of you said it's the only true statement if you put a 3 in for X every single time. So it's the only one that makes sense. So thank you for those of you who are following along. Absolutely. Then you plug it in, right? And then you find your answer. Okay, so 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 times 14 plus 26. I think that's 40. So they said write the answer in function notation. So I'll push the little math button here. Oops, I'm going to put it down here. There's our alarm. Hurry up, Miss Johnson. So function notation looks like this. F or H. Sorry, this is H. For some reason, they're using H here and T here and X here. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be all the same letter. So I'm just going to go with H. H of 3 is equal to, I think we said 40. Right? It should be 40. Notice, if you give me 4 answers, that's automatically not a function, right? Because that doesn't even make sense. How long did they travel at 3 hours? Exactly 3 hours. How far are they? And you tell me 10, 12, 14, or 15. I'd be like, what are you talking about? They can't be all those. It can only be one answer, right? So that's why we have to maintain the fact that it's a function. So I'm just going to continue. What is the total distance they traveled on the bike ride? So that would be you plugging it in. Oh, you tell me. How would you figure out how far they traveled on the bike ride? How would you figure out how far they traveled on the bike ride? What number is going to be super helpful to you? Yeah, very good. Very, very good. All right. Someone got it. I like it. Someone give me a number in the chat. Now, this number that they gave me in the chat told me I know what number I have to plug in. What number do you think they gave me? What number do you think they gave me? So if I wanted to know how far they traveled total, what number should I plug in? I'll give you even more hints. Plug in. Yeah. So someone else said 4 as well. Okay. So the answer is 4, and that's the very end, because that's the end of their bike ride, right? They travel for 4 hours. So if they plug in 4, then they'd be able to find out. Okay. So I'm going to leave that to you. They asked you to graph this. Okay. And the way that you would graph this is where we're going to start next time. But I want you to try this one on your own, and you can finish the exit to get, write a function for the, yeah, you can start doing this. You may not be able to finish it, but you can start it. So on Tuesday, this is where we're going to start. We're going to finish this one, and then we're going to do our takeaways. Okay.